Hey guys, this is Jeff with Reference Analog, and I'm here with Jon and Josh from Rockport. So they've got the Lyras at the show this year, and this is Axpona 2026. So this is a huge thing to be able to have these speakers at the show. If you are in the area, you definitely need to come by tomorrow and check them out. If you're not, then there's always our store in Oklahoma, and you're welcome to come down and hear Rockports anytime. They are ridiculously good speakers. We absolutely love them. So if you get to come experience the top level of their line, then this is your chance. So come up and check them out at Axpona. I'm going to turn it over to Jon and Josh and let them break down the system a little bit and what we've got going with the speakers and their partners that they've got in the room this year. So anyway, Jon, if you guys want to take over.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Well, this is actually really exciting because this is the first time we've actually shown the Lyra, which is our flagship product, in a North American show. So this is really the first time people at a show like Axpona have gotten to hear Lyra. And this system is honestly a really special system. We're all really proud of the sound that we're getting. This room is put together by Axis Audio Distribution. The speakers are being powered by Solution Electronics, top of the line. Their 7 series, their new 717 amplifiers. We've got equipment from Telos, who makes power conditioning, and also a new server and streamer, a really cool Reed turntable, a Metaxas tape deck, which is hidden in the corner there. We've got Terralab cables, Acoustic Grove room treatments, and hi-fi stay racks.
Nice job. That's a lot.
That's a lot of stuff. But I will say honestly, this system comes together and delivers music in such a powerful, emotive way. And the mark of a good hi-fi system is being able to play like the music that you actually like and getting everything out of it, not just being limited to kind of audiophile favorites.
Which is, in fact, the point of a high-end audio
Absolutely.
system.
And so we've been having a lot of fun. Just like the reins are off in here. We play anything we want, and we're just getting...
It all sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're just getting just such... You just never want to leave.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that was pretty good. I mean, I think it's important to point out also that we're guests here.
Yes.
So Axis Distribution sells these brands, but not Rockport. So it's pretty cool that they are using Rockport Lyra, our best speaker, at this show. And it might be a good time right now to just introduce the other speakers at the show. We have in the Still Points room, which is one floor down from here, they have a pair of our Atria 2 loudspeakers, which are actually our smallest model, but directly derived from Lyra, and we can talk a little bit about that. And then also one floor down on the 15th floor, we have the Lynx, which are being used in the Arender room. Arender makes music servers. And the other cool feature is they have worked with one of our other dealers, Tim Moritani, and basically worked with him to bring his system, which includes Rockport Lynx, Nick Doshi Electronics, and of course Arender music servers. Those are the primary Nick Doshi Electronics and actually Tim Moritani cabling and power.
And power, yeah.
So we're guests in all 3 of those rooms.
Yeah.
But all 3 of those rooms have very different electronics, and I was in those other rooms, and I will say that they are amazing. So they did a great job in those rooms as well. And even on like the, this is all solid state, that one's all tubes, and they both sound remarkable. So,
and I should point out Still Points. So Still Points manufactures vibration control and acoustic treatment products. They make racks, feet, and acoustic control products. But they're using Viola Labs electronics and Madison Sound cables and a Wadax studio player for digital. So so that's the overview.
Yeah, and one thing I would say that's just really unique if you're interested in experiencing Rockport products and kind of what you get as you move up the line, this is a unique opportunity to be able to hear our most special product and then and 2 other products that are below it and understand what they all have in common, because with a Rockport, we are always giving you our best custom driver technology, our best individually calibrated crossover, really what the customer is paying for is a crazier and crazier enclosure technology. The Lyra being representative of our most ambitious enclosure. But I think what you'll find when you go room to room is that the core Rockport sound is there. You know, the heart and soul of Rockport sound is there in every one of those rooms. You just get more of it as you go up the line, and you get to experience that here at Axpona in real time, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, really good point, and a unique opportunity, although your store has nearly every product in the Rockport line, so you can do that at Jeff's store too.
Show what you love.
But just to add to what Jon said about crazier and crazier cabinets, what that means, and they are ambitious, very ambitious in construction, and the Lyra is our most ambitious. And just quickly to take Rockport historically, in our first product designed by Andy Payor in 1991, he used a dual shell fiberglass composite cabinet that had one complete outer shell and one complete inner shell, creating, with a space between them, creating a section, and that section was filled with a damping material, a viscoelastic, which damped the shell but also created a section, a beam section between the inner and outer shell, which by taking two stiff shells and connecting them by a section, you create multiple times the stiffness in that part, many multiples in fact. So that's where we started, and the Lyra is where we are. This is the king of our line. Instead of fiberglass composite, over the years we've made carbon fiber composite shells. This is a dual cast aluminum shell, which is currently the most rigid, the most moldable form, and the most massive form we can think of to create a speaker cabinet. And the core material between these two is custom design. It's a viscoelastic, which means it's a material that retains elasticity, that allows vibrations in the shells to be pressed into that material and burned off, dissipated. Those vibrational energies are burned off and dissipated as heat in that material. Because when you take something like aluminum, you can think of metal, it's going to ring like a bell. That aluminum cabinet would ring like a bell if it wasn't properly damped. So, but it's important to know that that technology is now close to 36 years old.
Wow.
And it's been something that Rockport's been refining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to do is pull up, you know, when a customer asks about a various speaker or something along those lines, because I know what the goal is with this speaker, I pull up all the blow apart of what the other product that we're discussing, and we look at all the connection points and we count the screws. And you know, when we get to 150 screws, then we count the screws in the Rockport and we realize there aren't any, you know, in constructing the actual base of the cabinet, you know. And so it's like, yeah, that getting rid of all of those connecting points for points of failure and noise and, you know, et cetera, these cabinets are able to achieve that, but it takes an ambitious approach, as you guys say, you know.
Yeah, well, and you can do things well with fasteners, and there are multiple ways to do it, but there's a beauty in having, this is really a two-piece cabinet. Two castings with a viscoelastic, so you could call that three pieces. But in effect, when they're bonded together, it's one piece with no screws. We do use screws to attach the drivers and the crossover subchamber. But the wonderful thing about this is this dual shell with what effectively becomes one part has enormous mass, stiffness, and damping. So it's gonna create the quietest cabinet we know how to build. And just the quick point on that is when you see these speaker drivers, they're projecting all that sound energy out. But what you have to remember is an equal amount of energy is coming off the back end of that driver and shouting into that cabinet. So to create something that plays this dynamically, it can play very loud. That cabinet has to capture all of that noise in an ideal world and not let any of that noise out, because that's distortion. That's not part of the original signal. So this is the best way to do it. And to boot, by building cast aluminum cabinets in this way, or molded cabinets as we do in some of our other products, we can get a complex shape that optimizes the driver placement to put them in the perfect place, which is harder to do with flat panel materials. And also, we can create shapes. There is no flat surface on this product. It's constantly changing in radius, and it has big, broad radii around the front baffle, which really minimizes the diffraction behavior, which diffraction is the effect where you have a box, and when there's some sort of edge or ridge, the sound is traveling across that material and re-emanates from a transition point. And that's what diffraction is, and it's, again, noise. It's not part of the original signal that comes out of the driver. It's happening later in time.
Right.
Yeah, and the goal of all of this, and the reason why we go through so much trouble to build these speakers this way, is we're really just trying to not have the speaker add its own sound onto the music. And when you're able to lower noise effectively with all the engineering in the drivers, the enclosure, and the crossover, you hear more unadulterated music. And music is musical. It's not fatiguing. It's not something that you ever want to turn the volume down on. It's something that you want to experience as much as possible. Right. And hopefully, what we're delivering here in this system and the other two rooms is that musical experience where you just don't want to get up out of the seat. You're in it, and that's the goal.
Well, great, man. Well, thank you for joining me in this little video here, and hopefully you guys have a chance to come up and hear these. It's an experience you should not miss. So anyway, thanks guys, and catch you next time.
Thanks for having us, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.